scares me, especially thinking about my kids, their future, the island future, and the Marshallese future. It's very scary. We might be losing our people.
It's Friday, and Kotoplanwe is making his rounds. Swollen, discoloured limbs, wounds that won't heal, and patients too sick to leave their homes. All are in the advanced stages of diabetes. Lanwe is the diabetes coordinator on Ebeye, a strip of sand in Kwajalein Atoll, part of the Marshall Islands. It is the size of 60 football pitches and home to 10,000 residents. Diabetes is so prevalent here that many don't live past their 50s.
Like every week, you see a newly diagnosed patient coming in, and the ages are getting smaller and smaller.
On Ebeye, at least a third of residents have the disease, which caused or contributed to almost half the deaths on the island between 2020 and 2024, according to a Reuters analysis of death records provided by the local hospital's medical director.
Losing good friends, close relatives, even classmates with diabetes really scares me. It does really scares me.
But why is the disease so common here, specifically? The main reason is a dependence on highly processed food imported from the US mainland. Fresh fruit and vegetables are scarce and expensive. A single cabbage in Ebeye costs 4 times as much as it would in Texas. In stark contrast, just 20 minutes away by boat, sits the island of Kwajalein. It's home to a strategic US military base, one that has become pivotal in the US showdown with China, and it employs 1,000-odd Ebeye residents who work there as labourers. As this US Army orientation video from 2021 shows,
and the open ocean waters surrounding are some of the most beautiful in the world.
The island boasts a 9-hole golf course, public pools, and a bowling alley.
Come out and soak up some sun before smashing into the water.
And there's a fresh food delivery every week. But most Marshallese can't enter Kwajalein. It's a restricted military base, and those who can aren't allowed to buy goods from its grocery store.
The store is constantly replenished via weekly flights and regular cargo ships.
Matthew Cannon, the newly arrived base commander, told Reuters that Marshallese workers are the backbone of our labour force. He said their conditions on Ebeye cause him concern, but that opening access to the store would mean the shelves would be difficult to keep stocked.
Living conditions between Ebeye and Kwajalein is day and night. That's what I'd describe it.
Kalani Kaneko is the foreign minister for the Marshall Islands. He's a US military veteran, and his wife is from Ebeye.
How can I tell my kids and grandkids, how their family members, their relatives, how they became who they are and how they are living?
Laura Stone, the US ambassador to the Marshall Islands, told Reuters that America and its partners are, quote, really good partners, and that the Marshallese recognise that their future lies with the US. Reuters interviewed more than 40 Ebeye residents and several Marshallese officials for this story. Their testimonies and a review of official documents reveal the hardships on the atoll. Residents are also dealing with an environmental crisis. American military studies show local fish are so contaminated with metals and chemicals that eating them poses, quote, potentially unacceptable risk. But many locals rely on the fish as their only alternative to the highly processed food driving the diabetes epidemic. Food like frozen chicken and canned meat, which arrives by barge twice a month. With almost all of Ebeye's space taken up by housing, there's no room to grow food or raise livestock. Hormel Foods, which makes Spam, a popular food on Ebeye, says it provides clear nutritional information to help customers make informed choices. At Harry Jr.'s house on Ebeye, his sister-in-law rummages around for diabetes medication. His 49-year-old mother, Joanna, suffers from the disease.
We want to make her stay along with us as much as we can. Whatever we can do, we will do it. Whatever we have, we will provide.
Harry Jr. believes her diet is to blame, a diet full of processed food. which is mostly what the family can afford.
I was feeling sad and hopeless. Once you get diabetes, you will not get ghost problem.
The Marshall Islands sits in the Pacific Ocean east of the Philippines and west of Hawaii. During World War II, the US seized strategically located Kwajalein from Japan. There, the Americans built a military base, one they now describe as a, quote, vital national asset. Meanwhile, the US military relocated Kwajalein Island's original inhabitants to a then sparsely populated Ebeye. While technically independent, US treaties with the Marshall Islands, as well as two other nearby nations, Palau and Micronesia, basically give America control over the northern half of the Pacific Ocean, locking China out of the region. In exchange, the islands get US financial support, on which they heavily rely, and a promise of protection. Giff Johnson is the editor of the Marshall Islands Journal.
Coming out of World War II, the U.S. looked at the Marshall Islands and Micronesia generally, but Marshall Islands specifically, for the strategic benefits it could get.
Benefits like being the first to see military launches out of Asia, making it a crucial warning system if China or Russia fired missiles at America. It also tests its own missiles and interceptors, making it one of the US military's most valuable sites. Now, Ebeye's harsh living conditions could create an opening for others, namely Beijing, as it tries to spread its influence across the Pacific. At a conference last year, Kaneko says he was approached by an official from a Chinese ally in the region with an offer, $100 million now, and more later, if the Marshall Islands aligned itself with China.
That's the word we received. They can offer more. They can fix our hospital. They can fix our ports. They can help, create jobs.
Kaneko turned the offer down, but Stone, the ambassador, said there's a pattern of China trying to exert influence across the Pacific, including through offers of investment, and the US is clearly concerned. Last year, Congress gave the green light to $2.3 billion in funding for the Marshall Islands over 2 decades, including $132 million for Ebeye. China's foreign ministry said in a statement it wasn't competing for influence with any other country in the Pacific Island region, and that Pacific Island nations are not any country's backyard. Ebeye's mayor, the Pentagon, and State Department didn't respond to questions for this story. Ebeye's traditional chief didn't respond to interview requests. So, what next? Well, infrastructure on Ebeye has improved since 2017. With support from the US and others, the sewerage system has been repaired and there's now a desalination plant that works. But Langway says the island's problems remain dire.
We do need support from the government, from outside the government. We do need somebody to fight with us.
Sometimes he gets angry, but Langway keeps going. Each morning, he checks his own father has taken his diabetes medication, then goes to care for the growing list of residents on Ebeye who desperately need his help.
If somebody with diabetes dies from my family, it's like I failed them. That's why I'm still scared. At the same time, motivated to make changes, not only to my family, but to the community as well.